Hello, everyone. My name is Kobe Cornell Boone. I am the managing director and founder of Boone Capital. We are a private equity firm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, I'm super excited. This is called the Country Math 101 series, where I take different aspects of underwriting from an institutional private equity perspective, but make it digestible and understandable for folks to understand how there are real opportunities in the country, if you will, whether it be around timber, land, or even livestock. Today, what I'm going to talk about, I'm pretty excited about, is the Texas exotic wildlife industry, if you will. Last official evaluation, upwards of 10 years ago, estimated that there was a $1 billion economic impact and contribution of this industry. And there are many experts who I look to and trust today who even say that has now grown to well over $10 billion a year. We're talking about an industry with economic contribution of upwards of $50 billion globally, if you will, which I've been able to see firsthand going to the conferences, conventions that I attend, the conservation organizations that I'm a part of as well. But what I want to talk about today is I want to start off with a story. About 4 years ago, when my wife and I built our first home in Dallas, Texas, we were just leaving for church and we were driving around looking at properties. We wanted a little more room. Our first property was on Port 10, subdivision type of property. And we knew we wanted a little more land, a little more acreage. And I'll never forget, I was driving, and on the left side of a very long fence of a property, I just happened to catch a glimpse of a zebra. And I kind of double take, I'm sure like anybody else would, and just like, are we in Africa or are we in Texas? But I looked again, and there was another zebra. And as we continued to drive before we turned off of this road of the fence, a very long fence, I again saw other animals that at the time I couldn't even recognize. And that was kind of my entry, if you will, into the Texas exotic wildlife industry, if you will. And I want to give you a few facts today that I think is super important, and I think most folks may not know about the exotic wildlife industry. And one, how long is, I think for me even, and I want to shout out who I'm actually getting some of these numbers from, is Wildlife Partners out of Texas. Absolutely amazing organization, what they're doing in this space. Actually being able to listen in on some of their webinars that they've done, some of their conferences, it's been really awesome. But I want to go and share a little bit of the history that folks may not know about the exotic industry, if you will. And you can check out their website, wildlifepartners.com, for yourself and do your own research. But they're sharing that there are about 5,500 ranches across Texas right now, some of which you are able to actually hunt these exotic animals, others that you don't hunt at all. They're purely breeding ranches. And then others that are more the commercial, if you will, when you're looking at the hospitality industry, folks coming and spending the night, having corporate retreats, if you will, around this industry. I think one thing that has really been a focal point for a lot of folks that we talk to, with a hyper emphasis on land, on timber, on LP structure, where we're bringing returns back to our accredited investors as a 506c firm, is what is the immediate impact? Land is not something, like if you're looking for something that's the next meme coin, if you will, quick return of some sort or something, that is not what we do at all. But what I'm finding now in the world that we live in today, folks are really interested in what they can see, touch, feel. They're really interested in real assets, and also things that, to be frank, are cool. Things that they're interested in, things that are a niche to them that they can also have a return and enjoy. A lot of the feedback that we've received early on in our firm with our soft commitments that we had is people like, hey, I like the idea of being able to invest in something that I also get to enjoy, whether that be hiking, biking, hunting, fly fishing, whatever the case may be, with my family and my loved ones. And oh, by the way, if there is some tax advantages that I gain as a result of this, Section 631B, most specifically when we're talking about timber, and I get to enjoy it with my family. That's just a plus to this whole deal for me in general. So as we continue to underwrite this, and I think about our time, our investments that we have in Texas as well, it is something that I'm excited to dive even more into, man. And I think if you can I had a conversation with a guy just last week. This is UGC, so we can just talk. So I was having a conversation with a guy just last week, interested in what we're doing. And we were just talking about hunting, the outdoor side of it, conservation in general. And I was like, hey, I don't know a business or animal that you can invest $3,000, $3,500 for a pre-bred animal and turn around and sell a healthy, mature buck male from that animal within 36 months at $45,000 or more. And that the continued popularity of this animal and of this trophy will continue to drive a multiplier for the price point of that animal within that 36-month period from a high SEI score is what we call an SEI score. I don't know any other business like that that's legal that you can actually do that. So we just kind of laughed about it and kind of joked, but I think, again, one of the most exciting things about it is how this will continue to grow. There are many experts that are saying in the next 20 years that this industry will one day eclipse the industry in South Africa for many reasons in that. And I have friends that I've now met myself personally in South Africa that have these game ranches, these high fence ranches there. And a lot of the same conversations are coming up, right? Like, hey, you have well over I estimated 100,000 animals in Texas alone now, hundreds of species that you can go and have a plains game hunt where you hunt your primary plains game animals in Texas without having to get on a flight for 14 hours or more. So it's a pretty exciting deal. We're going to continue to dive into this more and share more of the economics and how these things kind of play about. But we are having conversations with folks now in the piney woods of East Texas to explore how timber as well as the exotic wildlife industry can come together and produce massive tax advantages, as well as something very interesting and cool to be a part of with global impact with some of the rare species that are being protected by doing this. So if you're interested in that, feel free to schedule a call at www.boonecapital.co. That's boonecapital.co. As we continue to explore this. And man, just super excited about what I believe we'll be able to do with this. Have a great one. God bless.